Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Wednesday, June 2nd, and one of the big questions I keep getting from you guys is, are Josh's sisters gonna have to testify against him in court? A couple weeks ago, there was this story going around. I'm not sure if it was like a clickbait, if it was one of those swipe ups. Some of these Duggar Instagram pages, they share these little clips, right? And it looks like something serious is happening, and then you swipe up and it turns out to be a whole lot of nothing. Well, in this case, there's something that is happening, but it's not exactly related to the case connected to Josh, but it's related to Josh, and they might have to testify about something that happened to them because of Josh. Okay, it's kind of a mess. Let's unpack this, and I still can't answer the question of whether or not they would actually be part of this trial for Josh. But as Josh prepares for his trial that's coming up in July, I'm still shocked that there hasn't been a date change for the trial. I'm shocked that there hasn't been a motion filed. I'm literally shocked that there's been nothing happening with this case. Rarely do you see cases like this where the trial stays as the same date that it's given. Now, the trial is scheduled for July 6th. At the same time they're prepping for his huge defense, right? The Duggar sisters have been embroiled in a dispute between the city, the county, and 3 employees. And they've been since 2017, and it all stems from the release of what? Back in 2006, the Duggars were all summoned to Springdale Police because Oprah and Harpo Studios called into a tip line for children that by people. Through the tip, through Harpo Studios, the Springdale Police called and they contacted the Duggars. Mom and Pop, Jim, Bob, and Michelle, walked down to I don't even know if they walked down, but they went down, they had some interviews, and their girls were all interviewed about what Josh had done. The case occurred in 2006, and the alleged incidences that happened with Josh were supposed to have occurred between 2002 and 2003. At the time of 2006, Josh was an adult, so he was 18 years old, I believe, or yeah, he was 18 years old. Jim Bob, when he went to Fox News and had his huge interview with Megyn Kelly, said that this entire thing that had happened, all of that was supposed to remain confidential. They claimed that they brought their girls to this place to speak to them because they were assured that all of this would be sealed. So they went through the incident, and when the investigation was then forwarded to prosecutors, they decided not to prosecute Josh. The reason given was that it was like a statute of limitations issue, and they just didn't do it. Even though he admitted to doing it, even though the girls admitted to happening, even though everyone was corroborating that it did happen, the prosecutor was just like, we're not gonna do anything. So they thought it was done and over, and they decided to become famous. And as they got famous, the whispers turned into murmurs, turned into screams, turned into yells, and suddenly nobody could keep quiet at all the secret that the Duggars had kept very unhidden. People around them knew about what Josh had done. Church members knew what Josh had done. People in town knew what Josh was up to. And so when it became public news in 2015, it was jarring to them, which is kind of odd if you think about it. I don't know why they thought that this wouldn't eventually get out, but it was the report being released to In Touch that is what upset Jim Bob the most. This information was released illegally, and so I wonder why all this press is not going after the system for releasing. 2015, In Touch makes a Freedom of Information Act request to Springdale Police Department, who, based on Arkansas laws, works with the county attorney and works with other administrators to determine what they can release, what they can't release, and they end up releasing this heavily redacted police report. Now, they included interviews that the police conducted with the children that outlined what Josh had done. I still can't really understand why they made that decision, but they claim that it was all legal.
Our hearts before God, we haven't been keeping secrets. We have been protecting those that honestly should be protected.
Now, they have expunged everything, so you can't go get these records anymore. You can't order them anymore, but they're already out there. In Touch has posted them. They're on various websites. They're on Tumblrs. Anyone that wants to find these police reports, you can find them. So the girls ended up suing, and the state had done a bunch of different things where they never should have actually released this information. They claimed at one point to have their civil rights violated, and they filed this joint lawsuit against the city of Springdale, the county of Washington, the workers that released the documents, and In Touch and all of the publishers. All the publishing and In Touch, they all got dropped, plus every single one of the federal claims ended up getting dismissed. Now this case is actually scheduled to go to trial. Trial is actually set for the beginning of December. And the judge that ordered the trial is the same judge that's trying Josh for his case that's coming up in July. So they have a scheduled, so everything is scheduled to go down the first week of December. The girls and their lawyers, they'll have to put together a witness list by the end of November, along with expert testimony. They have to do their discovery if they're going to include any depositions. And the judge ordered that this will go before an 8-panel jury, which will have to vote unanimously, yay or nay, in favor of the girls or in favor of the city and the county. They are also supposed to go to a mediation or a settlement talk with a magistrate, Judge Comstock, who is the same one that released Josh on bail. And this is going to get messy. So they have yet come to an agreement. I don't know, after 4 years, they're suddenly going to be like, yes, we're going to settle. So this will go to trial, and when it goes to trial, the girls could be forced to testify, and they could be forced to testify about what Josh did to them, about the police reports, about, what it did to them to have this released, and go through all of those feelings that they've had to keep inside for such a long time. So some of you guys have asked, okay, they have this trial happening and it only has 3 claims. There's no federal claims left. Could they possibly testify in Josh's case? I honestly don't know. The only way I could see this, and I'm not a lawyer, but in the bond hearing, they did bring up Josh's extenuating circumstances. So it sounds like the U.S. attorneys in this case are very knowledgeable about this police report. They're knowledgeable about the investigation that happened in 2006. They're knowledgeable that Josh admitted to doing these things. They're knowledgeable about who the victims are in the case. Could they force them to testify as like Josh has a history of doing this? I don't know. Part of me wonders if they could just reference the police report. Part of me wonders if they could make Jim, Bob, or Michelle testify. Part of me wonders if they would honestly, I don't know. I don't know if it'll be relevant in this case, only maybe at sentencing could I see it. Like, it could become a mitigating factor in terms of what his sentence would be. So one of the things that they brought up at the bond hearing was that he has a history of attraction to children. And one of the factors that determines the sentencing for these types of crimes is based upon if they have convictions or extenuating factors that can show that they have a history of doing these types of things. So my thought is that it could be brought up maybe on the sentencing side because it could be used as a factor against him. I don't know if they would actually have to testify though, because it's clear the court knows about this. The U.S. attorneys know about it. The judge is well aware of what he's done. The judge in this case has already dismissed a case against Josh, where he tried to sue the city. So they know about all of this. So my guess is they'll probably not have to testify. And I really hope, because honestly, it has nothing to do with this case. And honestly, I just hope it goes to I hope he just takes a plea deal, because it's gotten to a point where it's absolutely asinine. Like that he would think that he's going to get out of this. Now, some people in the family are getting a little bit teed off and irritated by this, because over the weekend I made this post about, this wild conspiracy that Biden's out to get the Duggars. And it was on that post that Amy's husband, yes, Dylan, made a comment. And it's interesting because here's what my comment said, and then here's how he responded. So this is what I said. The judge that presided over Josh Duggar's bond hearing is no longer assigned to the case. It appears that the Judge Comstock was only assigned for the bond hearing. Honorable Judge Timothy Brooks has been assigned to the case. Judge Brooks is an Obama-appointed judge. to federal court in 2014. Anna Duggar is said to believe the Biden administration is out to get Josh and set him up. A Democrat-appointed judge presiding over Josh's case. Is this divine intervention? Jim Bob Duggar must be freaking out. Dylan said this, believes the Biden administration is out to get them. Ha, what a joke. I'm sure the Dems are out to get them. Or maybe he effed up and did something horrible and he needs to pay the price. Now this comment got a ton of likes. He made that comment and 722 people liked that comment. It was on a comment underneath this post where someone said this, well, he learned from his dad to blame everyone else for his bad behavior. Daddy was and is always there to clean it up. And Dylan liked the comment. So it seems as though everyone around them, or at least the adults that have a clear brain and aren't in the fog of Jim Bob's cover-up, say that Jim Bob is covering up and cleans up his messes, and people are tired of it. They want Josh to pay the price. It doesn't sound like Jim Bob's going to go down in a blaze of glory because his family name means so much. But alas, Amy Duggar King's husband says, no more. This is garbage. You effed up. It's time to pay the price. The girls hopefully won't have to testify in his trial, but they may have to testify in their trial, and to which I hope they can find a resolution where they don't have to add more trauma to their lives by testifying in court. Tell me, you guys. All right, you guys, so tell me, what are your thoughts about all of this? Do you think they can come to a settlement with the city, the county, and the workers? Or do you think it will go to trial? If it goes to trial, will they have to testify? Also, do you think they might be called for sentencing to hear about what Josh has done to other people to give the judge an understanding of the severity of his crimes? Or will it all become irrelevant? And what do you think about Dylan telling Josh he needs to pay the price? Tell me in the comments below. Bye, guys.